what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Paul, and I think that's it in G+. How are you both doing?
Doing fantastic. Good morning.
Good morning. Very
Doing good.
Got a few people in Discord. Good morning to you also.
What's up?
Good morning.
Sky, any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope. Beautiful light in the sky.
Nope.
But the presupposition of Earth radius. Any evidence of that?
No. It has not been demonstrated or proven by any means yet.
No presuppositional Earth radius. What about presuppositions of a molten iron core at the centre of that presupposed spherical Earth that they don't have any evidence for? Any evidence of that?
Don't have one. You don't have the
No
other.
way, Jose.
Hey, Chocolate. Good to have you.
Good morning, guys.
What do they say about volcanoes?
They're not, in their rhetoric, part of the molten iron core. They're caused by tectonic slip causing friction that would generate that lava through the friction. And then you get a pocket of it on the crustal layer. This is their rhetoric, not mine. It's not like a tube from the centre of the Earth. Let's put it that way.
I don't know why the ballers don't argue that one more than they do. That's a pretty good one.
What, that you've got a massive, great big tube to the centre of the Earth?
I don't know about the tube part, but the volcano part.
What about it? We do have volcanoes.
Well, the volcanoes would say that it's hot under the ground, you know. I don't know if that's like everywhere, that the farther you go down, the hotter it gets. Is that true? You know, like anywhere in the world you dig, when you go down 8 miles, is it hot?
Yeah, from what I understand.
Yeah. They can't get past that point, so I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Beyond 12k, we don't know what's down there. Yes, it seems to be hot. Yes, we've got volcanoes. Yes, you can make lots and lots of logical inferences thereafter. But any evidence of a molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope.
Any evidence of Earth curvature?
Not from Pennsylvania.
Not from Tahiti.
Not in Georgia.
There was a guy yesterday on chat saying that he looks at the apparent horizon and sees curvature. And every one of us can look at the apparent horizon and we see a nice horizontal line. What's wrong with these ballers?
Even if it wasn't horizontal, what would that prove?
That his eyesight's bad.
It's an arbitrary position. It's not an actual position where you can visit and measure and drag a tape measure out to. It's going to move as you move.
That's why I use the word apparent in the description. And so it's a real easy fix. Get on an airplane. Go higher. Go to the mountaintop and look at it. Same thing.
Look at what? The horizon.
How can these ballers insist that they see a curve on an apparent horizon?
Right. Even if you did, who cares? It's a not actual location. This is something I'm going to start to, unfortunately, nip the heels of flat earthers on, and they're not going to like it. It's like the horizon rises to eye level. Who cares? It's not an actual position. It doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Clearer day, you might see further. Better lenses, you might see further. Moving that position. So what does it mean? Well, not a great deal. So claiming that this position and its flatness proves flatness is just wrong. Claiming that it's an obstruction of a presupposed Earth curve edge, or the hump between you and a target that's further away beyond the diffraction limit of the angle you're viewing it at, all this horse crap is meaningless. The horizon doesn't prove anything either way, as far as I'm concerned. And flat earthers who would tell people on the street, the horizon rises to your eye level as you go up in a plane. Yeah, well, that may well be the case. It may not be the case, but so what? It doesn't prove anything.
Now, from a secondary point of view, if I could continue this conversation, we know what fluid dynamics is, and that's what I brought up. I go, water itself would testify that it finds level. And if you look at the Suez Canal, I think it's about 120 miles in length, and there's no, what do you call it? What do they call that thing when they raise the boat?
Oh, locks.
Locks, yeah, there's no locks. So knowing how water is and how water behaves, and there's no locks over 120 miles, and one sea meets another sea, well, doesn't matter what your eyes see. We know how water works.
Billy? Who's it saying hello? I agree, by the way, 10th man, yes. Fluid dynamics, water, tangible, measurable, yes. Flat. At rest.
But don't you know, Nathan, that in the heads-up display on aircraft, the horizon drops. So that's proof that this water's curving. Come on, don't you know any better than that?
No, it isn't. So this not actual location in a piece of man-made technology proves water curves defying fluid dynamics. Wrong. It's wrong. No, it doesn't. I see Billy flashing, but I can't hear anything from you. I don't know if you're trying to rejoin or something. Got something to add, Billy?
Yeah, I don't know. Mom.
That's why they call that line on that heads up an artificial horizon, because it's artificial.
What? And the actual horizon is an actual horizon, is it?
No, they just call on those heads up displays.
The apparent horizon drops below an artificial horizon. Okay, cool.
Very useful to know. So this artificial horizon is below the not actual horizon. How useful. Thank you. Good job, they got good gyros. Because what that tells me, if you've got a HUD and it's essentially working off the principles of gyroscopic motion, and you're saying that the not actual position of the horizon drops below the gyroscopic not actual, or what did you call it, artificial horizon, well, I would say that all that's doing is proving that the not actual horizon doesn't match a flat reference that you're flying over, because it moves, proving nothing either way. My original point. Hey, Owen.
Hello.
That's one for Zanuck, because he always, when this topic comes up, he always throws that horizon drop in the heads-up display.
Lovely. Proving absolutely nothing. Maybe try dropping and rejoining, Billy, because you're just flashing away. I can tell you're trying to say something. You drop and rejoin, maybe refresh the page as you leave. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No, my senses would pick it up, especially with all the different motions that they claim.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon, given that there is an affirmative claim that the sky is a vacuum known as outer space? Any evidence you can have gas pressure without a container?
It's an absolute no way. Please demonstrate it if you think otherwise.
Definitely not.
Loud and clear now, Billy. Excellent.
Can you prove there's gas pressure?
Yes.
How about, you can have a gas without pressure though, right? Does all
No.
gas, do you believe that all gas has to be under pressure?
Can you tell me a circumstance where it isn't?
Well, just go walk outside your front door.
Wow.
And we experience gas at pressure.
I said, can you have gas
don't you know-
without having pressure?
Yeah,
Why do you
just
have to
asked
put
that.
the two words together?
Da-
gas,
David,
pressure.
David,
Can you just have
David,
one
I don't
word?
want this to last
Can you just
indefinitely. David, you said, can you have a gas? You can have a gas without pressure. And I said, can you give me an instance where that is an exampled? And you said, go outside. No. So is there another example where you can have gas without pressure? Or is it just that example where you go outside and experience gas pressure? Which is wrong.
If you have a balloon and you blow it up and then you let the air out of the balloon, does the air that came out of the balloon, is it still under pressure?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Can you demonstrate that for me, please?
It was under pressure before you blew the balloon up. It's under the same pressure when you let it back down again. The fact that you increase the pressure with your lungs, compressing the air to blow the balloon up, and then returning it to its original pressure, at no stage in that process did it not have pressure.
It didn't have any pressure until you blew it up.
Yeah, it did.
How can you have pressure? How can you have a balloon that has pressure before you blow it up?
It's atmospheric pressure, equal on the inside to the outside.
What?
So it still has pressure.
Before
Dave,
you
he's
blow the
not talking
balloon,
about the balloon. He's talking about the gas that you use to blow up the balloon. Was
point.
under pressure.
Sorry, I missed that little false equivalency that he dropped in there. Well done, Chocolate. Right. The balloon. Yeah, the balloon might not be having any additional pressure to make it stretch. But that doesn't mean the air isn't pressure. It is.
We ain't gonna do this again, are we?
Hopefully not. Hopefully that's the end. Well, that concludes the housekeeping. Hallelujah.
We actually got through it. I swear.
Okay, can we get a prayer for all time's sake for all the fundies?
Radius Dominus Gravitas Spiritus Sanctus Arwin. Go in peace. In R you trust, fundies.
Amen.
Yeah, whenever Double D comes, he's always talking about lava and volcanoes and air pressure. But he never gets it resolved, it seems like.
Nice calm day on the flat earth.
I was just about to say, is this the calm before the storm?
You know, I was just thinking the best way to prove that we're under pressure is a vacuum chamber, because once you remove the substance, you have less pressure, so there's a proof of that. Well, spin would be the same thing. So if you want to prove that we're spinning, stop the spinning, then we would definitely feel it and notice it, wouldn't you think? You stop the spinning.
Nathan, how
Hello.
does a rocket work in space?
Say again, you're a bit quiet.
Sorry, how does a rocket work in space? I'm a little bit. That's the only thing, getting on my nerves a little bit. So how does a rocket work in space?
Doesn't. Space is fake. Any claim of a vessel in outer space, a second law of thermodynamics violation, sky vacuum, is automatically bunk. So there is no space. It's like asking me how the gas lamp in Narnia works. Well, Narnia's not real, so let's not concern ourselves with how the gas lamp works. The medium that the lamp is in is fake. Equally, the medium they claim that rocket is in is fake.
All right, I'll watch this clip on YouTube. Have a look at it and tell me what you think. I've watched this, and this is actually quite compelling, I think, in my opinion, how a rocket works in a vacuum chamber. And this is Newton's third law of motion. Visualize. So have a look at that if you can. For me, that is quite I don't know. It just for me it makes it look like it is real by watching this clip.
What's real?
Well, that a rocket can push off a vacuum.
Sorry, I'll say it again. Slower this time. There is no sky vacuum. So how this model works in a vacuum chamber is irrelevant because the sky is not a vacuum.
Well, then you're going to have to prove that the sky is not a vacuum then. You can't just say it's not a vacuum without proving
No
it.
worries.
What?
Not a problem.
Dude,
Not
just
a problem.
walk outside.
Not a problem. So, as you've used a vacuum in your
I'm
starting to demolish your claim that you've just asked me to do, as opposed to say it can't be possible, and you're immediately talking. Why would that be?
I'm a chatterbox. No, go on. I'm listening.
Can you have a vacuum without a container?
Did you say, can I have a vacuum without a container?
Correct.
No, you can't.
Well, they assert that the sky is a never-ending, expanding vacuum without containment.
That sounds stupid as well.
Yeah, that's what they claim the sky is.
Therefore, what they claim doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, showing you a rocket in a vacuum chamber wouldn't be the same thing because they don't have a container in their model. So that'd be a false equivalence off the rip anyway. So
let's
and
just try
also, as the thrust is produced in that vacuum chamber, it's creating an atmosphere inside of that. So you start having gas pressure as soon as the rocket starts to burn. So it's not it falls apart right off the bat.
So let's just try and spin it around in a slightly different example for you. What was your name? Is it... see it in grey. It's got a load of numbers at the end. Game something. Game Mercy, is it? Gamer Mercy? Total silence. I think he might have a mic issue. Yeah, can't hear you, my friend. So, I'll try and give you a different scenario. If, as has been asserted here on a previous occasion, I was to assert, with the aid of cinematography, that the sky was made of plasma, just for the sake of argument. And I say, look, in my movie, my rockets travel through plasma. Yeah. Then I show you a box with plasma and a rocket working in it. Does that prove the sky is made of plasma?
Oh, come on, Nathan. It's so easy to disprove it that the sky is a vacuum. Just walk outside.
Special pleading.
Well, they say that all the time. Well, for us, it's much easier because, yeah, if you're going to be walking outside and you're breathing air, that means that the Earth's not surrounded, enveloped by a vacuum of outer space. Because if it was, we couldn't be breathing. Therefore,
Precisely.
walk outside.
Yep, precisely. Although we don't assert that, we
Well,
would
wait a
say
minute.
it with the assistance of natural laws that back that, as opposed to just saying, walk outside, point at the sky, special pleading, these natural laws don't need to apply to my sky, which is what they say. We actually back it with natural law.
Right. And don't forget, they're not claiming the vacuum to be there right in front of them. They're pointing up and then saying it is there.
Exactly. Special
That's the
pleading.
difference.
But didn't you guys know that if I take a barometer, and I start going up an elevation, that starts to show less pressure in it? That's proving that eventually, if I keep going high enough, that there'll be an absolute vacuum up there. Come on, guys, don't you understand how this works?
Okay.
How did the pressure get there in the first place?
We'll get to that, Chocolate. So let's just use a little analogy. Would you first concede that all the gases are produced at ground level? Paul?
Yes.
So given that all the gases are produced at ground level, if I make a small scale analogy with a kettle, and I say that you're going to measure the particulate matter above that kettle at 1 inch above the nozzle, the spout, when it's boiling, and you will get a fairly high reading. And then you're going to put the same measuring equipment a metre above the kettle. You're going to get a slightly lower reading, considerably lower, but for this example, slightly lower. Then you're going to put the same measuring equipment a mile in the air, directly below the kettle. Do you think the reading's going to be even lower still? Of course it will. So you have the highest concentration where the gases were being produced from the kettle, less as you go slightly higher up, and considerably less, maybe none, of what that specific production method of gas was producing at ground level, even though you're directly above it a mile in the air. So you have a gradation based on the production being at its highest at ground level. Nothing to do with an extrapolation that involves a sky vacuum, because what was that you asked, Chocolate?
Where did that gas pressure come from in the first place?
Exactly. Where did you get the gas pressure in the first place? Paul?
I don't know. We just have gas pressure. I don't know. I don't know where the gas pressure came from. We just have it.
Well,
So
I
there
think
you go.
it's safe to assume it came from ground level. But in order for gas pressure to have established, as you said, yeah, there would have to be a limited confine first, a container, as they say, for it to find.
And now Coach Show is in the chat posting a 5-second GIF of the sulfur hexafluoride like he's fucking somebody. Get too scared to say anything on the fucking panel. Well played, Coach Show.
I love Matthews.
Yeah, thanks for interrupting that last part.
Sorry for the.
Go ahead, Arwind.
Nah, they do it every time, don't they?
He's getting annoyed at a fundy in the chat that's saying that if you pump a man-made, very inert gas into a fish tank and watch it for approximately 60 seconds, you'll see that you can float something solid on it. And therefore, without a lid, it's contained. Well, what happens 3 hours later? Does entropy take effect? Would the gas eventually fill the rest of the available volume that it has available to it, given that there's absolutely no bonds between that gas?
Well,
it's unbonded.
I wonder, though, let's presuppose that setup, everybody would get out of the room and there would be absolutely no air motion. Would it actually sort of dissolve, or would it then stay within that spot?
Let's just get some clarity on terms. When you say air motion, do you mean currents within the already moving at high speed gas particles. Is that what you mean?
Yes, within the pressurized room.
Let's say there's no currents inside the already moving at very high speed unbonded gas particles. Do you think that, given that they are unbonded and free to eventually dissipate in between the gaps of the other gas particles, that sulfur hexafluoride will remain inside that fish tank indefinitely if there are no air currents and only the gases moving at high speed in all directions? What do you think, Arwin?
Well, I can speculate based on the information that you've given me, but I just wonder, would it actually... look, curious nature, I would like to see it. Well, you can't see it, it's invisible. But
let's try it with a more extreme example. Let's try it with a more extreme example. I just want to get it done with quickly. If I have a far more extreme example over a much greater prolonged period of time, let's say an old Land Rover left out in a field, will that eventually succumb to the effects of entropy? Or will it remain completely intact and perfect forever?
No, I'm not saying entropy doesn't happen in general. No, absolutely.
No
I'm
worries.
just wondering if the air gas, the inhomogeneous gas mixture, and that specific hexafluoride, if completely left to their devices without any motion within the room, if it would start to dissolve, you're basically suggesting.
Owen, I was answering it. I didn't need a repetition. I heard it. Thank you.
I know. I
don't need a third repetition. I just need space to answer it, Arwin. So, thanks. So, given that a solid object will eventually, just left out in the air, succumb to entropy, and that's a solid object, do you think that an unbonded gas will not succumb to entropy given enough time?
It depends.
No, it doesn't. It's a law of nature. Definitely doesn't depend. I can give you an affirmative answer right now. It absolutely will.
Yeah, goody.
Hey Nathan, if you watch my screen, I've got high-speed particles. I'm going to demonstrate what would happen with high-speed particles. Are you ready?
You've not got. You're not sharing at the minute.
Oh, I'm not. Okay, sorry. I'll share. And this is using their own rhetoric. How's this sound?
While you're sorting that out, I'll just reiterate that. I just want to reiterate what I just said. Entropy is a law of nature. It always applies.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Now, I've already done this once, but I'm going to put the gas around the sphere at high speed particles. Watch what happens. There you go.
Now, I don't normally like swearing on the show, but Anthony, in his very good video about the same subject, phrased it as follows. When you take away the gravity presupposition in Micwestian 2 space, this pictorial example of two-dimensional gas interactions on a blue dot, when you get rid of the gravity, and I quote Anthony, the gas fucks off into space.
He had me dying with that. Yep.
I just turned the gravity off on this one, so I'll do it again.
And
so,
again,
here we go.
And when you do, to quote Anthony, the gas... Let's not quote Anthony, let's quote an MIT professor speaking on the same subject in a slightly more eloquent way. The gas fills the available volume as per the second law of thermodynamics. The gas would fill the space.
Right.
How do they have a meter to turn off and on a concept? I don't get it.
Sorry, Rumpus from the chat says, you don't know what you mean by entropy applies. You mean the second law of thermodynamics applies, you moron. I have a quote from Rumpus that says that the second law of thermodynamics does not apply to Earth. So he's calling me a moron whilst correcting me about entropy, essentially the second law of thermodynamics, is describing entropy, and he's saying that I'm a moron. No, we've got you on record saying that it doesn't apply to Earth, Rumpus, you complete moron.
Play it.
I don't have it to hand. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, is somebody going to quickly rustle it out just so it gets played? I'll just rewind the chat so it appears so people can see it on the what Rumpus said. I'll read it again. You don't know what you mean by entropy applies. You mean the second law of thermodynamics apply. You moron! No, Rumpus. You don't know what the second law of thermodynamics is or where it applies, as demonstrated by your contradictory statements. One made a couple of days ago, where you said you would never say such a thing as entropy doesn't apply to the Earth. And then we have you quoted on Ranty Flat Earth saying quite specifically that the second law of thermodynamics does not apply to Earth.
Oh, come on, Nathan.
There you go, I got it.
Rumpus is a mind reader, and
Master
he
B.
can interpret your thoughts better than you can translate them.
There's a better one in Master B. I just posted it in there. Snatch it up.
Where have you got me on record saying that entropy doesn't apply to the Earth? I'd never say such a thing. The second law of thermodynamics does not apply to the Earth.
That's fairly concise, Rumpus. You complete moron.
Classic.
You are demonstrably a moron, Rumpus. I don't know why you're criticising what's said here when you are fundamentally idiotic, as demonstrated by this audio clip, which we will all hear again now.
Where have you got me on record saying that entropy doesn't apply to the Earth? I'd never say such a thing. The second law of thermodynamics does not apply to the Earth.
Moron. You've
John's
got
laugh
no
makes
right
that
being
extra
here.
special.
You should be clinically institutionalized, Rumpus. You are stupid.
Maybe they're just confused and think that that entropy has nothing to do with the second law of thermodynamics. Maybe that's what it is.
You know, I really just don't get his statement at all, because if entropy doesn't apply to the Earth, then to what does it supposedly apply? Does that mean that it doesn't apply to anything?
But didn't you hear the
it was
statement?
the other way around.
Yeah, but didn't you hear the statement from Rumpus? He said he doesn't understand entropy. It's the second law of thermodynamics. So they're trying to separate it now, as if entropy has nothing to do with that second law, which I've heard before. So, yeah.
Now wait a minute though. If here I'm gonna pull up this gas law again, and he says if the sun is constantly adding energy to the system, wouldn't that increase the entropy? Let me show you, because I'm going to show you my little gas diagram.
Yes,
here.
yes, it would.
When I apply heat to it.
Yes,
Okay.
the sun is a massive entropy generator, Paul. Yes.
So there we go. I'm applying heat. Constantly applying heat. So is the entropy decreasing inside the container or increasing?
Increasing.
That will be increasing.
He would have to say that gravity decreases entropy. The sun would not do it. It would have to be gravity doing it, wouldn't it?
Gravity doesn't exist. Is the gentleman that brought up the vacuum in a chamber when he said it works, can he define works, please?
With the guy talking about rockets in a vacuum?
Yes, even though I'm begging the question and it's a second law of thermodynamics violation with implication, I want to know what he means by works.
Still here. He's on mute at the moment, though. I don't know if he's stepped away from the mic, but he can hear you. I can describe what he's talking about. He's talking about a pop bottle rocket being let off in a vacuum chamber, and then as the gas from the rocket's presumably chemical combination of different materials combining to produce an explosion at the back of the rocket, the chamber becomes pressurized and starts to make the rocket move forward. That's what.
Not in this video. Not in this video.
Sorry, say it again.
Not in this video. That's not it. Even though that's a belly laugher.
He's back now.
I've seen another one. I've seen another one with a 7-Up can, and it does exactly the same thing. But I think that is just because of the obviously the 7-Up, the chemicals inside, the liquid inside. It's just pushing on the walls of the container, and that's what makes it move in a vacuum.
You didn't answer my question. You didn't answer my question. In the video that you posted in Discord, define what you mean by works.
What do you think works means? What do you think? What do you mean by works?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Wait, so you don't know what works means?
In your context, he's asking you what you meant by works. That's what he's asking you.
What does he think? What does he think I mean?
That's what he's asking you.
Don't be silly about it. You know what works means.
Just calm down. Right, please don't ask him to divine your thoughts when he's specifically asking you to clarify what you meant. Just clarify what you meant by the rocket works.
Well, it looked like it seemed to create a thrust, and it sort of obviously a thrust came out of it, and that's what we've been told. That's what happens in space.
So thrust came out of it because you have no movement in here, right?
Hold on, John. I don't think he's finished. Hold on, I don't think he's finished.
What is a thrust?
Go on,
Owen, hold on.
Carry on. Go on, Q. Let's go. Carry on.
See,
I'm listening.
You just got diarrhea of the mouth because you're a frigging.
No, I'm trying to speak, and you're just jumping in all the time.
Clown,
but I'll be quiet. I'll listen to you.
Yeah, just tell us you'll be quiet 5 or 6 more times, you frigging retard.
Go ahead, QE.
Sorry, what's your job again, my friend?
I just want you to shut up.
What do you do
You
for a living?
just said you'd be quiet.
What's your job?
Now you're not being quiet.
What's
he
your
just
job?
wants to respond.
What do you do for a living?
Excuse me. Just need you to be
Expose
quiet.
pretender clowns like you.
Go ahead, QE.
Yeah, I make more money than you little prick.
Sorry, this isn't about how much money we make. Okay, so what? Because I'm poor?
He doesn't have manners. He has no manners. I watch the show all the time. All he does is just jump
your
in.
point.
He knows everything. But I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm gonna let him
shut up.
That's all he likes to do. Go on, then. Go on, then.
I just need you to continue being quiet. Not confirm that you're on mute, like we take the piss. Yeah?
I'm on mute.
Don't need you to... Try to pay attention to what I'm saying. I don't need affirmation that you're going to shut the fuck up. Just shut up! Go ahead, QE.
Yeah, I pulled his video out of Discord, and I was expecting to see what you were talking about with, a pop rocket friggin' having the gas fill the container and not being a vacuum. I was expecting to see that, but that's not what this video shows. It just shows it combusting. It shows combustion in a vacuum. Yeah, well, you can have that with a fuel and a friggin' oxidizer, you retard. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's all I wanted, the clarification. That's all I wanted. Don't have to jump on me. I'm just giving you something that I've seen and I wanted to know answers for. That is it. That's all I wanted to find out.
No worries. Same conclusion as last time.
You don't need to jump on me. I just want to, I saw it. I thought, that's very interesting.
But you understand where the whole thing went left, right? He just asked you to clarify what you meant by saying that it works. He understands what the words "it works" means, but he just wants to hear your interpretation of it. That way we can absolutely figure it out and iron it out. That's it. But you went to the, you don't understand, it works. I mean, come on. You brought it to that level, bro.
And how do you know how much money I make?
Let's not go down this route.
I could just tell.
Who cares? I'm definitely the poorest person here. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, make sure you donate to Nathan.
Yeah, smash that super chat, blah, blah, blah. E-begging can wait.
He can definitely tell what my income is, really.
Yeah, I can.
I'd like to know how he does that.
Because you're on here every day.
I've tried my only trick. God, what am I going to do?
So I have a low because I come on this show every day, which I don't. I have a low income.
Do you want a computer? I have a spare computer if you want it. I can ship it to the US if you want it.
There's no need for this.
I'm on the show every day. You know where I am?
I can give him one.
There's no need.
I'm at work.
There's no need.
Every day on this show. So there you go.
Look, let's just not do this. There's no need for this ad hominem attack.
No, I'm just saying, if he wants a PC, I can send him one if he wants one.
He hasn't asked for a PC. What are you babbling about?
Oh, sorry. I'm babbling about something else. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. So, what are you going to address that we've talked about the fact that the sky, A, is not a vacuum, and B, your demonstration doesn't even demonstrate thrust by the sounds of things? Or are we going to talk about our personal incomes?
Perfect. Thanks for that. Thanks for the answer, guys. Much appreciated.
No worries. Excellent. Now we can conclude. So the sky is not a vacuum, and demonstrations that take place in vacuum chambers claiming they're analogous to a presupposed vacuum that cannot possibly exist because it violates both the law of gas itself and the second law of thermodynamics means it cannot possibly be a vacuum. So any claim that comes from that region, the sky vacuum known as outer space, is automatically fake, including, but not limited to, the ISS pantomime. That is not in a sky vacuum. Yeah, we've got a light in the sky. No, it's not what they present on TV when they show you people doing somersaults in a second law of thermodynamics violation. On the crew on the Starship Enterprise deck, which it might as well bloody be when they show you on TV. So no, all of that claim to be crap happening in that tin can in a violation of the second law of thermodynamics, all of it can immediately be discounted. You don't have to worry about the TV trickery. You don't have to be worrying about the picking apart of them being on high wires. You don't have to worry about the editing going wrong or the CGI layers blurring out. You don't have to worry about how their payloads are a load of nonsense in terms of the weights they're claiming they carry up there or the amount of money that they're spending to be in space. It can all be completely ignored. The sky is not a vacuum. End of all arguments that have a claim that they're taking place in outer space. Because it's not real. I don't want to spend endless episodes right near the 1000th mark where we're discussing how bloody rockets work in the presupposition of a vacuum. It drives me nuts. I'm not going to argue about how the gas lamp works in Narnia, or why the time dilation didn't affect Egmont when he came back through the wardrobe from Narnia, or why the footprints in the snow aren't melting as quickly in Narnia. Who cares? Narnia's not real.
That's a book, mate. That's a book.
Yeah, and on TV you've got a sky vacuum, like on Star Wars and Star Trek and NASA. Equally valid. Both, all three, just producing TV for you. Not proof. You're not getting up.
I don't watch TV.
You're not going up to the sky vacuum either, are you? To confirm any of this crap the wizards tell you? The wizards tell you rockets work in space. Well, how are you going to confirm that in Narnia? You can't get to Narnia. Only the wizards go there.
Yeah, Narnia is a book. You're referring to a book.
Yeah, I'm comparing it to outer space.
Well, you can't compare a book to what we have it in real life.
I'm comparing it to space.
Analogy, mate.
We don't have outer space in real life.
Yeah, in real life, it's comparable to Narnia. Analogy, it's just comparable to Narnia because
no, it's not. One's a book.
Yeah, and the other's just on.
Can you do science on that book?
Are you going to ever let me respond? I've heard you say 5 times it's just a book. Talking through my every rebuttal. Is this going to be another time where I've got to explain that I need to be able to respond to your shitty rebuttal, or are you just going to continue to assert it 6 more times? Yeah, I don't need permission. Oh, he is that dumb. I don't need your permission to talk, Dumbo.
I'm talking to you.
I don't need your permission. I need you to shut your chops. That's all I need.
You do, because if I'm talking to you and you want to speak, I'm going to say, go on then, speak.
No, I produce this show. You don't give me permission, you stupid dick. So, nice and calmly. I'm not saying that we need to science a book. I'm comparing fiction with fiction. The sky is not a vacuum. That's a story you've been told on TV by wizards who claim to go there. Now, I don't need Edmund standing in front of me to make this a perfect juxtaposition between Narnia and space. It is both fiction. The reason is simple. Space is a violation of natural law, therefore is not real. Now, I don't need to argue about the spacecraft or the gas lamp in Narnia, because both take place in fake mediums, places which do not exist. Just because one's presented on the pages of a book and the other's presented on the newspaper doesn't make any difference to the fiction. Proven by natural law. That's my comparison. Comprende?
It's not the same. It's not the same. At night, I see the sky. So do you see the sky? So where's that comparable to a book?
Yeah, you really get a wow.
And real life.
Sorry,
I don't
excuse
even
me.
understand.
When we see the sky, there. Oh, he's going to start fucking talking again, isn't he? Every time I start replying to you, Dumbo, do I need to tell you to shut the fuck up every single time I start talking? Are you so stupid that you do not understand how to have a conversation? Every time I start responding, you have interrupted me so far. Every single time.
I said yes to carry on.
That I wasn't leaving that pause so that you could give me permission. You stupid idiot. I'm leaving a pause to check whether or not you're so dumb as to respond again. Clearly, you think you need to give me permission here when I run the show. I don't need your permission. I need you to have half a brain and listen to the fifth time me pointing out that you don't need to tell us you're not talking because that's a contradiction. You just need to shut up and not interrupt me every time I respond to you. So, both are fictional. The region that they take place in. Doesn't matter if it's footsteps in Narnia or the spacecraft you came here with. Both aren't taking place from a region you can experience. So they claim you can experience a sky vacuum looking down on a sphere Earth. Is this something that you've experienced, like Edmund experienced time dilation in Narnia? Or are they both something beyond the capabilities of your and my experience? ? Over.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Are the views they get from the cupola of a sphere Earth second law of thermodynamics violation in a vacuum and, comparably, the footsteps experienced with time dilation by Edmund, are either of those two things experienceable by you and I? Number one, for clarity, because you've asked. Don't need you to keep talking, having him pause for breath. Bloody hellfire. I'll summarise again for the dipshit that needed me to repeat it, and then interrupts the summary. Number one, footsteps being experienced in the snow with time dilation in Narnia. Number two, comparison of a sky vacuum with sphere Earth from the cupola. Can you experience either of these two things? Over.
I wasn't listening. I shut up.
No, you won't take part in the conversation anymore.
Thank you for that behavior. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah, just kick that fucking fake flat earther. I think Brendan wants to come on.
Just to summarise that point for the guy who thought it was so important to talk about money. All the money in the world won't buy you a brain, will it, thicko? Bye-bye.
I think it's more entertaining if Brendan...
Wow.
Yep, I could have said it better myself.
So, just to conclude, both Narnia and the snow footprints with time dilation and the view from the cupola will never, ever, ever be experienced by any of you watching or on the panel or me, ever. They're both fictional places that you can't go.
You couldn't experience anyway. It's second law thermodynamics violation.
That's my point. Yeah. Exactly.
But you could think about it like it can go there.
What, Narnia?
Sure. You could just think
I can
about
explain the lamppost.
Who cares? You bastard. Who cares? Explain the time dilation that Edmund experienced. Like I care. I'm never going to go through the wardrobe. I'm never going to jump on a rocket and visit a second law of thermodynamics violation. Neither will ever happen. Both aren't real. Anything to add on this? Because I'm going to shout out some super chats that have been waiting for ages. Nope. Drunken Bullet 411 super chat and says, "Get yourself a sandwich, Nath. It's a ball." Well, thank you very much for the super chat. You feel free to express your opinion with money as much as you like. Thank you very much, Drunken Bullet. Really appreciate your support, seriously. And also, Jamal's 24 says, "Question for the Globers: which came first, the vacuum or our atmosphere?" Thank you very much for the super chat. Jamal's 24. Hope I'm saying your name right. Really appreciate your support.
I just smacked Kosho in the Discord chat. He said heat does not increase entropy; it decreases. And then I just pulled out the video in the physics forum and actually show where it says how heat increases entropy. And then he says, "Oh, I thought of it wrong," so he backed down really quick.
There's a reason. Hold on. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. It's the company he keeps. So he's got people like Rumpus overtly stating that to him incorrectly. So if you hang around with morons like Rumpus, you're going to get these things wrong because they're wrong and they're telling you incorrect, false, wrong information. And that's going to sink in and echo itself here, making you look stupid. It's the second time this has happened, Kosho. Do you still trust these people that give you this incorrect information to be humiliated time and time again, even from the chat, by flat earthers? I would cut loose of these retards, quick sharp.
This particular subject is 5th grade. This is primary school general science. The entropy issue. So to get that wrong, it's tantamount to Elmer Fudd giving the keynote address to a friggin' neurosurgery convention. Why are you even out here?
He's been given false hope about his religion of a sphere by people like Rumpus and George Netanyahu.
Wow.
Earth's not a
So
sphere.
now I'm bitchy. Okay,
it's just
cool.
a dying breed of fundies that have to change definitions and change their own rhetoric in the face of our absolutely obliterating points in regards to their religion. And that's going to be painful and, unfortunately for them, drawn out. The purveyors of these lies want to keep lying about it, and they're going to keep lying to you, the people who come here who are normies, the ones who profess to being experts in this pseudoscience religion of a globe. They're going to give you false and wrong information, and we're going to point it out every time. Doesn't matter if it comes verbally or not.
Hey, Pete Shea, what are you trying to say in chat? Kosho, military man. Paul, military man. John Huey, military man. 10th man, military man. By the way, I've never served in the military.
I was about to say, you're not a military man, are you, 10th man?
Ooh.
You're not military.
BJ just went into the military conspiracy of all this.
Well, I just want to make it clear, I've never served in the military, but I highly respect them and support them, and always will.
But without sounding disrespectful, again, who cares? I couldn't care less about Kosho or QE or anybody else's background. What they assert is all that's relevant here. And as sick as this may sound, if they were a convicted murderer, same principle would apply. If they were knighted, the same principle would apply. It makes no difference. The genetic
Totally agree.
fallacy.
Just want to set the record straight.
Yeah, but it's a genetic fallacy.
Of course it is.
Also an ad hominem. Well, probably not at this stage.
Well,
but one would have been coming from
I
Pete.
just want to correct them. I just want to correct them that I've never been in the military. That's all.
Fair enough. I'm glad that the information comes because it often sounds like I'm telling you off in a way. It happened the other day, 10th man. I'm not. I want the information to come through. And again, I want it to come through so it can be shut down. But it doesn't mean I'm shutting you down. Just so that's clear.
I actually like it when you tell me off, so keep it going.
I'm not telling you off. I'm just shutting the incorrect assertion down, regardless of where it comes from. And often you've got to have it flowing back and forth. But sometimes people will take it personally. Spurs did it the other day. He came in and affirmed the consequent with travelling antipodal to yourself when observing southern star rotations. And he claimed that if you observed them from the peninsulas of the continents down there in 3 different locations, then that would affirm the consequent for him that it was a globe. And I kept on pointing out, well, no, you've got to beg the question initially and affirm the consequent to have that be a globe proof. And after about the 3rd time of him sort of saying, no, I'm saying if it's a globe, and me going, yeah, that's the point. By about the 5th time, you turn into a monster. Not because I dislike Spurs. Far from it. I just want the point to be concise and not be, poo-pooed for having used an if statement. It's like, that's not a defence. But don't take it personally, Spurs. I haven't fallen out with you. Same as...
Doesn't this dovetail on our pre-show talk about sales and being tough because you were in sales?
Probably.
Yeah. No, I don't take it personally. If you hear anything I say and you think it needs correcting, please do.
Well, that's what will be next from Pete Shea. Oh, Paul in sales, Nathan in sales, 10th man in sales. Definitely something suspicious.
I love it.
A shout out to Christopher Lees. He says, shout out to Rumpus, who has been benched by every channel. And, sorry, I have to move my screen. And cry from the chat. Sorry, that was a bit broken up. Thank you very much for the super chat, Christopher Lees. Really appreciate your support.
All right, what happened? Rumpus is getting benched from global channels too? What's going on here?
I don't follow the Rumpus, I don't know. Nor do I follow his plight in that regard, so I don't know. I'll take it as read, Christopher. Maybe. And who can blame them? Let's be honest, the guy's very silly.
Where have you got me on record saying that entropy doesn't apply to the Earth? I'd never say such a thing. The second thermodynamics does not apply to the Earth.
You know what I mean? Got about a minute left on the live show. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley.
Come on, Globers. 7 housekeeping questions. Almost 2 years. You haven't been able to debunk one of them. Please come on the show.
Ow. Developing a massive cramp in one of my feet just as I'm about to do the outro. Has anybody got anything to plug while I Ow, ow.
Flat Earth Early Bird. Yay. Every day, 2 p.m. Amsterdam time. That's 1 p.m. London time. On my channel, ARWIJN. Come and visit us.
Thursday, we're going to do Rumpy and Brenda. We're going to get a twofer.
That on the Quantum Eraser channel, Be Here or Be Sphere?
Yes, sir.
And that's at 7 p.m. UK time and 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Quantum Eraser channel, Be Here or Be Sphere. And the Flat Earth Early Bird, which is on Arwin channel, ARWIJN, 2 p.m. Amsterdam time, 1 p.m. UK time. And I think it's like 5 a.m. Central Standard, right, Arwin?
Yeah, it's too early for the west coast of the United States, but east coast is doable. And I take the late night for the Australians and New Zealanders.
So just a couple more shout outs. So Kevin Burns says, the QE laugh in the middle of that clip makes me laugh so hard. I paraphrase that slightly, but yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you very much
perfect.
for the super chat, Kevin Burns. Also, shout out to Agent Dubsky. He says, shout out your gout. Right on. I need a banana. And a long one. I'll have to scroll around this one if it's broken up. I'm sorry. Hugs everyone on the panel while whispering, shh, shh, it's okay, it's okay. Then holds hug till uncomfortable, awkward. I don't really follow that. It's because I read it in a terrible way, drunken bullet 411. But thank you very much for the super chat. Really do appreciate your support. And with that, I'll say, if you are watching this on Nathan Oakley, premiering stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in, smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. And of course, a massive thank you to all of today's live panel for making this show possible. Be sure to stay tuned if you are watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!